third base, number 4, Ashton Gebhardt. In the left, number 16, Tatum Van Overby. And at second base, number 13, Hayden Whiting. And there we go. Time to rise and move your hats to the national anthem.
All right, we are live here at Needles Field here in lovely Humboldt, South Dakota for the matchup of your Sioux Falls Christian Chargers versus the West Central Trojans. It's not the worst day we've played baseball in this year, but it's about 50 degrees, cloudy. At least the wind's not really blowing maybe slightly out to center. This is also not my playlist, so if you hear music in the background, this is music sponsored by Devin Alfson. He brings his own mixtapes to the game. Speaking of an Alfson, Gunnar Alfson will be on the mound here for West Central. Leading off for your Chargers will be Brooks Clapp. So Brooks to lead off, followed by Hayden Gorsett and Pete Samp. All right, so that'll bring up Brooks here to lead off. There's a curveball that's popped up back towards the dugout. That's just going to get out of play. As we have about 5 kids go after the ball, and some kid just got tackled in the grass. So Brooks behind here, 0-1. Here's the 0-1. And that's a fastball on the outside part of the plate here. So Brooks here in an 0-2 hole. Here's a curveball, chopped at third, double hop, glove by the third baseman, throw across the diamond, and that's going to get Brooks by his step. Kind of an in-between hop there for the third baseman. Waited back on it. Had just enough time to get Brooks at first. So that's going to bring up Hayden Gorsett.
Now up number 14, Gorsett.
And that is a curveball on the outside part of the plate. And that's ball one as it pops out of the catcher's mitt. So here's the 1-1 to Hayden. That is foul back and out of play. And we're going to have more kids try to kill each other. I think they get a piece of bubble gum if they get a foul ball. Here's the 1-2. That is way outside. Evens the count here at 2-2. Pete Samp on deck. That ball misses high. So Caden works that count full.
Get it out!
And that is on the outside part of the plate. And that is strikeout number 1 for Gunnar Alson. That'll bring up Pete here. Ball misses low. Tate Connell in the on-deck circle if Pete can find a way on. High and inside. That was close to hitting Pete for the 10th time this year. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. And that fastball on the inside part of the plate here. Pete still ahead here, 2-1. Big swing and a miss. So 2-2's the count. Pete calls time. There's a curveball chopped foul. Oh, and dropped by Coach Gorsett. Really needs to work on those hands. So we'll do 2-2 again. And that is missed low as Pete thought about swinging. So full count now to Pete.
Felix, get a strike!
Big swing and a miss. And back-to-back Ks will end the first. Top half of the first, anyway. So we'll head to the bottom half of the first with Jake Humpel coming to the mound.
Leading off his children, number 11, CJ Dunbar on the mound.
All right, Jake Humpel takes the mound here for your Chargers. That is a fastball over the inside part of the plate. That is back-to-back fastballs painting each side of the plate. So Jake ahead here 0-2, the leadoff batter in the first. Just missed outside. Jake still ahead here 1-2. Oh, it looks like DK's strap came off the back of his chest protector. All right, 1-2 count here. Ball misses high. So that evens the count here at 2-2. That ball misses even higher. So Jake, after getting ahead here 0-2, 3 straight balls has run up to a full count. And there's a chopper, slow roller, gloved by Hayden, long throw over, and that is into... Oh, and Pete is down as the runner. So Pete's going to walk it off as the throw sailed high. The runner and Pete collided. And they're both kind of walking it off a little bit.
Cooler weather brings that out.
So it looks like the runner and Pete are both okay. Either way, it's going to be a throwing error on Hayden. And so they'll bring up the number 2 hitter for West Central. Jake misses low and outside. Short lead at first. And that's a fastball over the outside part. Evens his count here at 1-1. That is popped up into foul territory, and that is a foul ball. So that was a jam shot over the head of Hayden at third. So Jake ahead here, 1-2. Mounts is low. Good stop by DK there. So 2-2's the count. Runner on first. That is fouled back and out of play. So still 2-2. That ball misses high.
Okay, 25.
So full count here. And that is paints the outside part of the plate. We'll take it. I don't think it was over the plate, but we'll definitely take it. So out number one. As Jake paints the white in the other batter's box. So that'll bring up Gunner here. 1 out, 1 on. That is popped up on the infield. That's going to stay in play. Pete calling for it. Reaches up and grabs it in fair territory. And so 1 pitch, 1 out there to Gunner. That's a big out.
Okay, Nick.
So Pete's leg seems to be doing okay as he moved well to make that play. All right, that'll bring up the cleanup hitter here for the Trojans. And that is a strike over the outside part of the plate.
Okay, Nick.
That ball misses outside. Infield's Hayden Gorsett, Brooks Clapp, Will Foch, and Pete Samp on the infield. Outfield, Harry Nichols, Tate Connell, and Abbott Moeller in right. Forgot to do the lineups for the inning. And, oof. Well, that must be a makeup call for the strikeout. So 2-1 now.
Okay, Nicky.
That is line down the line, and that is going to be foul ball. And that couldn't have been foul by much.
Okay, Nick, that one looked good. Gotta get another one.
All right, so 2-2 here, 2 outs. Runner on first. Jake takes a look over at the runner. And that's a ground ball. Gloved by Hayden. Long throw over. And that gets away from Pete, and that is out of play. And another throwing error from Hayden down at third. And Pete unable to get that as that bounced out of play. So that's going to have runners here at second and third. And number 8 coming up here for the Trojans with 2 runners in scoring position.
Now batting number 8, Steckler.
So Jake really having to work here in the first inning.
Here we go, Chargers.
That is foul tip into the glove, and that is strike 1. And that is strike 2 as Jake paints the outside part of the plate. So Jake way ahead here, 0-2. That is popped, fouled back and out of play. So we'll do 1-2. We'll do 0-2 again. As he was able to just get the piece of that high fastball, foul it back and out of play. That's a curveball, and that's a strikeout. And Jake Humple bails out his defense. 2 runners left in scoring position, and we will head to the second tied at 0s. All right, Tate Connell set the lead off here in the second for your Chargers. followed by DK and Harrison Nichols will be batting 6th.
Here we go, Tate.
Tate shows bunt and just kills it, and that is foul. As Tate just got a piece of that on the outside, the end of his bat. I do like that idea with Tate's speed. That's a great play. That's a terrible placement for it, but I love the idea. Third baseman now in on the grass, though. Oof, man. That one missed low, I guess. So evens the count here at 1-1. Here's a swing and a miss from Tate. So Tate behind here, 1-2. Ooh, that's spiked into the ground. So that evens the count here at 2-2 as DK hustles in to grab that ball. That ball, oh man, wow. That's a couple of close pitches that Tate's laid off. Full count here. And that's a swing and a miss. So I'll bring up DK here.
Now batting number 12. Yeah.
Go connect.
Ooh. Ball at the eyes there for DK. Pretty sure on Sunday DK was pinch ran for 4 times because he was on base 4 times, and he's about 2 balls away from doing the same thing here as he's ahead here 2-0. Curveball sails high and inside. So Dylan way ahead here, 3-0, with Harry Nichols on deck. And with the take sign on, DK takes one right down the pipe. So 3-1's the count. Ooh. And that's called strike 2. Looked a little high and off the plate. So full count now. And that's a high fastball and swing and a miss. So back-to-back strikeouts to start the second here for your Chargers.
Let's go, Harry.
So that's going to bring up Harry here. Ball misses outside for ball 1. There's a big cut from Harry.
Go, Harry.
Oh, they said he went. So Harry couldn't hold up on that check swing and has now found himself in a 1-2 hole. Here's a curveball, and that is hammered. That would have been Had Harry waited on that, that would have been real interesting on how far that would have went. But either way, it's just a long strike. We'll do 1 and 2 again. And that fastball misses outside. Evens the count at 2 and 2. There's a line drive. Coming in is the center fielder. Reaches up and makes the grab. And that will do it for your Chargers in the second. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We'll head to the bottom of the second, tied at 0.
Now batting number 30, Eli. 16, you got it.
Go. Go, Jake.
All right, Jake Humble going to start us out here in the second inning. And that bounces in there for ball 1. And that's in there for strike 1. Here's the 1-1. Ooh. Missed low. And that bounces in there again. So Jake way behind here, 3-1 to lead off batter in the second.
Go, Jake.
Go, Ferdy.
And that sails high, so that's a leadoff walk.
Hey, Ashton.
Go, Jake.
Looks like we're going to get a courtesy runner.
Now batting number 4, Gabba.
That's going to bring up number 4 for the Trojans. That ball misses outside. Big lead over at first. That is a fastball swung on and missed. Showing bunt. Hayden already halfway there. Fakes a throw over.
Here we go, defense. Let's go, Chargers.
Shows bunt. Ball missed low.
Good job, Hayden.
Here we go, Jake. Jake.
Showing bunt again. And that is bunted foul. So that'll even the count here at 2-2. Here's a 2-2.
Yeah.
Oh. Couldn't tell you where that was because it was over the plate. So that is ball 3. Very, very questionable call.
Yeah.
Wow. So back-to-back walks. That'll bring up number 16.
16, Ben Overbeek.
Here we go.
Pete going to come in on the grass. Hayden's going to pay it normal depth. I got to assume you're looking for a possible bunt here. And that is bunted foul. Handled by Coach Connor. So 0-1. Runners on first and second. Shows bunt. There's a bunt at Jake, and he's not going to have a play. And that is going to be an infield single to load the bases. So bases loaded, nobody out. And the number 9 hitter up here.
There it is. That's a great pitch.
How about him? Number 13.
Wow. So Jake was asking where that pitch was, and umpire said it was out. Here's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, let's go, 13.
Corners are playing in. Oh, they're going to bring everybody in. Trying to cut down the runner at home. Shows bunt. Pop straight up. Got his DK. And that's a good communication as Pete, Jake, and Dylan all converged on that ball. And Dylan reaches up and makes the play there. So that's going to bring up the top of the order here.
CJ.
Batting 11 Dunbar.
So 1 out now. Base is still loaded. And top of the order up for the Trojans. There's a curveball in there for strike 1. There's a curveball in there for strike 2. Back-to-back curveballs in there for Jake. Here's the 0-2. There's a curveball in there for strike 3. And that is a big strikeout for Jake Humpel.
Now batting number 2.
So now 2 out. Bases loaded. Brings up number 2 hitter for the Trojans. Good stop there by DK as that ball was in the dirt. Here's the 1-0. That missed outside. So Jake's going to have to come up with something here as he's behind 2-0 with nowhere to put the batter. And that ball misses high. So Jake now behind here 3-0. And that's in at the knees for strike 1. So Jake going to need a couple more of those. Otherwise, it's not going to be a 0-0 game anymore. That's a swing and a miss. Ball hops away from DK. But Jake's battled back. It's a full count now. 2 out. Bases loaded. Here's the payoff pitch. That's a curveball lined into left. Coming up, throwing is Harry. There's the throw home. Coming up the line is DK, and that's a 2-out RBI single. That scores 2. So West Central going to take the lead here on that single. So runners at first and second, still 2 out. And that ball misses high.
There we go, Jake, you got it.
Go, Gunner.
Ball almost hits him. So Jake behind here 2-0. There's a line drive into left. And that's going to go all the way to the wall. And that is going to be a 2 RBI double. And that is going to put West Central up 4-0.
Okay, Nick.
Keep it going.
We'll get a courtesy runner here for the pitcher. So 2 walks and 3 hits have led to 4 runs for West Central.
Okay, Nicky.
In there on the outside part of the plate for strike number 1.
Looking at the knees.
There's a ground ball, backhanded by Brooks. Long throw over, reached by Pete, and that is finally the 3rd out. But unfortunately, 4 runs come across. And your Chargers are in a 4-0 hole as we head to the 3rd.
Here we go, Jake.
All right, Jake Humpel set the lead off here in the 3rd.
Let's start defense.
Chargers yet to have a base runner. So Jake could really help himself out by getting on base here. And that ball misses low and outside.
Here we go, Jake.
Go, Gunner.
Here's the 1-0. And that's called a strike. Hit that, but Jake couldn't get that call in the bottom half of the 2nd. So here's the 1-1. Curveball misses inside. So Jake ahead here 2-1. Abbott Moeller on deck. Followed by Will. If anybody can get on, it'll be the top of the order. And that ball bounces in there. So 3-1 the count now.
Okay, let's get it straight.
And here's the 3-1 to Jake. And that's called a strike. Just need some consistency here.
Get it straight.
That was 2 very borderline pitches that we did not get. And that's a ball. I mean, so a leadoff walk So we're going to get a courtesy runner for Jake. That's going to bring in Caden Coulterman here to run and Abbott Moeller to hit. So first base runner of the game for your Chargers via the walk. And Abbott ready to hit here. Way outside, and Caden's going to move up 90 feet as that ball was way, way outside. So Abbott, who leads the team in RBIs with 14, now has a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Another ball bounced in there, and that's going to get away from the catcher. There's a throw down, and Caden in there. So 2 straight spiked balls allow Caden to move up to third. So infield is playing back here for West Central. They're going to concede the run for an out. So Abbott just need to put a ball in play to get his 15th RBI of the year. That's a high fly ball, down and out of play, as that was off the end of the bat. It was a high fastball that was probably swung at ball 3. So here's the 2-1. Way outside. So Abbott way ahead here, 3-1.
Yeah, let's get a strike.
And that is foul tipped. So that's going to bring the count here full. Abbott's got to find a way to get it done here. And that is low. Man, that is back-to-back walks here to start the third. And that's going to bring out Coach Devo, a.k.a. his dad. So that's going to bring up Will here. So top of the order up after Will. Long meeting on the mound. All right, so that's going to bring up Will here. Runners on the corners. Nobody out. Runner goes. Ball low and outside. Throw back to Gunner. And that is going to be a stolen base for Abbott Moeller. And Will's going to have 2 runners now in scoring position. And he is ahead here 1-0. Ball high and outside. So Will here, 2-0. Back-to-back walks for your Chargers to start the third. And that is way high. So Will way, way ahead. This ball's going to be, I assume we got a take sign coming up here. Oof. And that is strike number 1. All right, 3-1 here. Will trying to help put your Chargers on the board. Swing and a miss. So that's going to run the count here full. Here's a payoff pitch to Will. Way outside, and the ball hops away. And so 3 straight walks to the 7, 8, 9 hitters to start the third.
Now up, number 7.
And your Chargers in the same position as West Central was in the bottom of the second. Bases loaded, nobody out. They cashed in for 4 runs, and Brooks up now to try and get your Chargers on the board. Here's a swing and a miss. Hayden Gorsett on deck. Called strike 2 on the outside part of the plate. That's a curveball, and that is strike 3.
Here we go, Hayden. Here we go, Hayden. Help out.
So that'll bring up Hayden here with 1 out.
You got it, 1-4. Let's go, Hayden. Go, Hayden.
Wow. Man. All right. High fastball, called strike 1. That was at above his belly button on that. So here's the 0-1. Here's a fly ball. Going out is left fielder. Making the catch, tagging. Here's the throw. Here's the play at the plate. And ball gets away. And that is going to be a sacrifice fly for Hayden Gorsett. So that gets your Chargers on the board here. So runners at the corners now. With Pete on deck. Or Pete up now.
Okay, good. 2 down, take an easy one now.
Pete batting .524 on the season.
Here we go, Pete. Here we go, Pete.
Pete's also been hit 9 times.
Here we go, Pete.
Oh, way ahead of Tate. Ball misses high and inside.
Here we go, Pete. Here we go, Pete.
Abbott Moeller at third. Will down at first. Fouled back into the net. That's going to even the count here at 1-1. Tate Connell on deck. Throw over. Will back easily. We'll do 1-1 again. Sails to the backstop. That's going to try. Here comes Abbott home. Sliding, and he's safe. And Will take second. So that'll make it 4-2. So your Chargers have cut the lead in half here in the third. Pete still with a runner in scoring position down at second, and he is ahead here 2-1. In there for strike one, or strike number 2, over the inside part of the plate. So the count 2-2 here, 2 out, runner on second, 2 runs already in for your Chargers. Ball outside. So count full here.
Here we go, Pete.
Ball misses high. And that is going to do it for Gunner as he goes 2 2/3. And he's going to be responsible for the 2 guys on base. So we got a new pitcher coming in for the Trojans. And we will be right back. All right, Tate Connell up to bat here now. Runners on first and second. Ball misses low.
Did they swap that pizza and do take their little wipes out and security to get pizza bags? Make sure there was no cocaine between the cheese and the crust. Yeah, but in pre-check they still swipe your stuff sometimes. Yeah?
Only if you have tattoos.
That's the problem.
Ball high and outside. So Tate way ahead here, 2-0. Pete down at first. And he steps off, looks Will back. There's a line drive. Oh, and the diving catch by the third baseman. That's a nice play. And that Tate ripped it, but that'll do it for your Chargers. They cut the lead in the half and trail 4-2 as we head to the bottom of the third. 1-2. All right, I guess we did not have the microphone working last inning, so I apologize that for you guys. But Jake Humpel goes 3 up and 3 down as it starts to drizzle here in Humboldt.
Johnson. Leading off the inning for the Chargers.
Because you had yellow or what? Oh, just that it was like.
Here's DK. Big swing and a miss from DK. Harry Nichols in the on-deck circle.
We're fine. You're going to
Way outside. Harry's going to have to hustle in and grab that ball. Ball bounces in there again. So DK ahead here, 2-1 to start the 4th. Fly ball. Calling for it is Gunner underneath it and makes the catch. And that is the first out of the 4th. So that's going to bring up Harry here.
I have no idea who she is. But I was. She's really cheering. Just like me. It's kind of like me. Did you read the last grade?
This
Here we
is
go,
you
Harrison.
and this is her put you together in one like something.
Go, Harry.
Ball misses high.
I don't think you would do it. I think you'd be like out there playing.
Very nice.
So 1-0 to Harry here. 1 out. Jake Humpel on deck. Ball misses way outside.
Oh, Harry!
Inside, almost hit him. All right, so Harry ahead here, 3-0.
Go, Harry.
And that's in there for strike number 1. Way high and way outside, and that is a 1-out walk with Jake Humpel coming up.
Walk.
Come on, Jake.
Coach Gorsett sends in the signs. Jake, who started last inning with a walk. Ooh. Looks at a low strike.
Said, is this, are we close to your house? I thought you said, did you punch your phone? I'm like, no, God, no. Okay, no, we're not close to my home. We're in Humboldt.
Runner goes, swing on, throw down, and Harry's safe, and he slides off the base, and it's tagged out. Coach Gorsett asking about a balk as he's double pumping on the mound. So Jake behind here, 0-2. 1-2. Swing and a miss. So 3 up, 3 down in the fourth. And we'll head to the bottom half of the fourth with your Chargers still trailing 4-2. Jake Humple back out there to start the fourth, and that is fouled, and that is out of play.
Please return all foul balls to the concession stand.
Ball sails high and outside. Jake started the inning at 64 pitches. So with the amount of games that we have this week, that is a swing and a miss. So we have a game tomorrow against Tri-Valley and then at Lenox on Saturday. And then back at it Monday, Tuesday of next week. And that is, bounces in there, and that they hit him on the bounce. And that is a hit by pitch. Yeah. So a leadoff walk here, or hit batsman here in the bring up number 13 here. Hop foul and out of play. In there for strike 2. So Jake ahead here, 0-2. Top of the order on deck. Curveball low. Here's the 1-2.
That was what happened. It was like she jumped up.
That ball misses low, so it evens the count here at 2-2. That ball missed outside, so that's going to run the count here full. There's a swing and a miss, and that's a big strikeout. So 1 out now here in the bottom half of the 4th. Runner on first after the hit by pitch. And we are going to get Coach Mike out to have a conversation with his pitcher.
Special color.
All right. Coach Gorsett heading back to the dugout. Jake's going to stay in here. Jake had 76 pitches so far through 3 1/3. Top of the order up here for the Trojans. That ball sails high. That ball misses low.
Oh yeah, we did too. Maybe that was.
So Jake behind here 2-0. In there for strike, and he is, on a back pick. Pete had to reach behind him and make that tag. Shows bunt, pulls back. Count here is 3-1. And that is a walk. So runners here on first and second, only 1 out. Oh man, that's tough. That is called ball 1, as it was over the heart of the plate at the knees. There's a chopper. Toss over to Will to Brooks. Fires, that's up the line, and that is going to be a throw in there. And that is throwing it while we just throwing the ball around like Little League as that ball sails into center field. So it's going to be a fielder's choice with another throwing error. And that's going to make it 5-2. So Pete has had his work cut out for him at first. And they're going to put Gunner on.
Team Lorraine.
Okay, Nick.
So with the base open and 2 out.
Okay, Nick.
Here we go, Jake.
It's a 5-2 ball game. Ball bounces in there.
Tap Dylan.
Alright, here we go, guys. Alright, play tough here, Chargers. Let's go, boys.
Oh, man. Misses
Here we go, Jake.
low. So Jake behind here 2-0.
Good kick.
That's in there for strike number 1. Way outside.
Okay, Nicky. Come on, Nick.
Get him swinging.
And that's going to go to the backstop, and that's going to be a walk. And that's going to bring up number 8 here with the bases loaded and 2 out.
Now batting number 8, Steckley.
Jeez, all over the place as that was called strike 1. There's a line drive. Going back is Tate. Reaches up and makes the catch. And that will be the 3rd out. But Chargers give up 1 on another error. And we'll head to the 5th with your Chargers down 5-2. All right, Abbott set to lead off here in the 5th for your Chargers. Followed by Will in the top of the order. What?
Here we go, Abbott.
Oh, ball almost hits him. Gets called a strike. And there's a swing and a miss.
Here we go, Abbott.
So Abbott quickly here in an 0-2 hole. Ball bounces in there. So 1-2's the count.
You had a sip yet?
There's a swing and a miss. And Abbott down on strikes. And I'll bring up Will.
Number 10, Fuff.
In there for strike 1.
Here we go, Will. Drive one, Will.
Ball high. So 1-1's the count here. Well, that's a ball. So Will ahead here, 2-1. Ball bounces in there. So Will ahead here, 3-1. Brooks on deck. And your Chargers desperately in need of base runners at this point.
Get a strike.
Called strike 1. It's called strike 2. That ball is clearly inside. I'm sitting right behind home plate. That is on the white. And that is a 1-out walk here in the 5th. So that's going to bring up top of our order. Chargers still looking for their first hit of the game.
Batting number 7, Clap.
That's another one in on the white. I am literally right here watching this, and it's at least 6 to 8 inches inside off the plate, and that is 3 straight in this inning. There's a ground ball up the middle, gloved by the shortstop. Throw over, and he is going to be what? So that is a double play to end the inning. This is terrible. So we'll head to the bottom of the 5th, and your Chargers still lead down 5-2. All right. Number 30 is going to lead off here for the Trojans in the 5th. Jake Humble back out there. And you need a short, quick inning here from Jake. And that misses high and outside.
Here we go, Jake. There we go.
Jesus. It's called a strike. Man, that is... This is all over the place. So, 1-1 the count. All right, well, that one just missed as it sails at his eyes. So 2-1 the count here. There's a ground ball down the line, foul. And that's going to even the count here at 2-2.
I felt really bad.
So 2-2 count here. And that ball is out. Full count. It is 3-2. That's fouled and out of play. So full count, we're going to do it again. And this is another foul. So battle really going on here between to lead off the 5th. There's a curveball in there for strike 3 on the 9th pitch of the at-bat. So that will bring up number 3. In there for... Ball misses outside. Oh, man. So 2-0, 2 out, nobody on. And we finally get an inside call for strike 1. So 2-1, and most likely will be Jake Humple's final batter. So 2-2. And then it's strike. So Jake Humple strikes out the side, and we'll head to the 6th. And your Chargers trailing by 3 and running out of outs. All right, do it for your Chargers here in the 6th. Hayden Gorsett, Pete Samp, and Tate Connell. And we're going to need a lot more than that, as your Chargers trail by 3 to start the 6th.
14 Gorsett.
Go, Hayden.
The ball misses high. Over the outside part of the plate. Evens the count at 1-1. That ball just missed, so it sails high and outside. Quote the late, great Harry Doyle, just a bit outside.
Here we go, Hayden.
2-1 the count. Swing and a miss from Hayden.
Okay, one more strike. Go.
Here we go, find a way. Let's go, Hayden.
So 2-2. That ball misses high. All right, full count here.
Here we go.
Pete Samp in the on-deck circle. That ball misses low.
There we go. There we go.
And there's a leadoff base runner that we really needed.
Go, Hayden.
Number 20, Sam.
All right, that's going to bring up Pete. Ball misses low and inside to Pete.
Here we go, Pete. Here we go, Pete.
Tate Connell on deck. Fouled and out of play. It's going to even the count at 1-1.
One never knows. One never knows. Yeah.
Here we go, Pete.
There's a line drive. Backhanded and off the glove of Gunner, and that's going to be a single. That is going to be the first hit on the day for your Chargers. And that will bring up Tate here with runners on first and second and nobody out. So nobody out. Chargers got something cooking here in the 6th. Tate Connell, who ripped the ball last time, lined out on a diving play by the third baseman. There's a lot fly out to right. Tagging. And Hayden Stain thought about tagging as Tate hits another ball hard. Unfortunately, it's right at somebody. And that's going to bring up DK.
Here we go, Dylan.
Come on, 12.
Why don't you get knocked?
Oh, and that's going to hit him. And that's going to load the bases.
Come on, Harry!
Hey, let's go, defense!
And we're going to get a... And that's going to bring a visit from Coach Devo. So not an official visit yet, as Coach Elson has not crossed the white line as he's having a conversation with the umpire. All right. Now we have a visit once he's crossed the line. And I think we're going to have some changes here. All right, so we're going to get center fielder coming in here to pitch. So 1-0 to Trey. Abbott takes his lead down after he goes. Popped out of play. Hit and run on. So Abbott will have to return to first. Ball outside. Stray ahead here, 2-1.
Go, Peter!